Domenico in the Room podcast with Jason the Kid Knight. It's return season. This dude is back in MMA March 5th in Biloxi, Mississippi. Jason, welcome to the show, man, and congratulations on your next fighting opportunity. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. I appreciate you having me on the show. Just, kind of going through the motions of trying to, transition back from the boxing mindset back to the MMA mindset. I'm in decent shape now, but I'm not quite fight shape yet. So, we're working on getting there. Try to get in good fight shape so that way all I got to do for the last little while is train my skills.
Now, Jason, you spent, your last couple of fights in the BKFC organization. Talk about, your last fight in MMA was for the UFC in 2018. A few months later, you jump with BKFC on a huge fight. What was the decision to go into BKFC right out of the UFC?
Honestly, after I got kicked out of the UFC, I think it was like right at a month before the UFC ever, officially announced it. And I don't think the UFC ever announced it. They released me through like an email. And then I had a guy with BJPen.com. He hit me up wanting to do an interview or a podcast, one of the two. And he asked me, he's like, how important is it to win your next fight, being that you've lost 3 in a row? I was like, evidently it's not too important because, they just cut me. And then he announced this big story that I'm a free agent and all this other stuff. And after he announced that story, BKFC, they were the first ones to hit me up with a decent offer. And after they hit me up, I told them, I was like, look, just get with my coach, get with my manager, and we'll see if we can make something happen. And they offered me the Artem Lobov fight. And honestly, I was thinking, man, this is an easy fight for some good money. I'm supposed to go out here and dominate this guy. Well, the first fight, I had all the skills to do the same thing I did in the second fight. But after I got hit one time, I went back to middle school and, stuff happened.
So what was the decision after that fight? Because I would imagine BKFC was going to offer you a pretty good lump of change probably for your next fight if you fought for them. What was the the change in your mind to jump back into the MMA field here?
Honestly, man, I just feel like I have business left to attend to. I feel like I could have done so much more. I feel like I could have done so much more in the UFC and the MMA world, and it just feels like a chapter that wasn't, over. Well, I feel like it's not done. I feel like I have unfinished business that I have to go back and tend to.
Well, you are fighting for Ikon Fighting Federation, a fairly new promotion. They are under UFC Fight Pass. I do believe that Frank Mir's daughter, who's a big name up and coming, did fight on their last card or a card before there. So they do have a bunch of eyes on them. What made you decide to jump with them and, jump aboard them as your first fight back into MMA?
They offered me a fight. I'm good friends with Dean Toole. He's the one who's over the promotion. And he asked me if, I would be willing to take a fight for him. And, the way I look at it is, I'm probably not going to get as much money as I would for the BKFC fight, but I am going to be fighting on Fight Pass. A lot of eyes are going to be on it. And I feel like, it's a pretty quick route back to the UFC. That's the goal that's in mind, is make it back to the UFC and go in there and show what I should have shown the first time. I went on a good little run, and then I got a little excited about all the money that I had, and went and blew a lot of money, partied a lot, and made a lot of mistakes that a young guy would make. I think I was 23 when I first got in the UFC, and from 2015 to 2018, I made a pretty good bit of money with the UFC, and it was time to party, time to have fun. I wasn't as wise as I am now. I feel like I could have done so many things differently, and I would still be there right now. So I believe that I'm gonna make my way back, and I'm gonna go show them exactly what I should have showed them the first time.
Well, you're fighting basically in your backyard for Ikon here. You're fighting Biloxi, Mississippi, not too far from your end, where you fought for BKFC. So a lot of eyes are going to be there, not only on Fight Pass, but you get to have fans, I would imagine, in the stands, something that, other organizations around the country really are not getting to have. How excited are you to kind of fight in front of your home crowd back, in the MMA cage?
Man, I absolutely love it. Whenever I fight in Mississippi, it's always 100% Jason Knight crowd. The other guy, whenever he walks out, there's going to be crickets chirping. Nobody's going to scream for him except for the few people that he brings with him. When I walk out, it's going to be electric, and that's the best feeling in the world. To know that everybody in there is behind you, and it's not like, of course, for me, I want to impress the fans. I want to give them a good show, but naturally, for the most part, it's for me. It's not so much as I'm going out there and I'm fighting for them, but that gives you a little more incentive. Whenever you're out there, you're putting it on for people that love you, people that are behind you. It makes it that much more special when you get your hand raised, and it makes you that much more eager to actually make it happen.
What do we expect to see from the new Jason the Kid Knight in 2021 in the return season?
I mean, I feel like I'm going to take a lot less damage than I normally would. That's one of the biggest things that I picked up from, transferring into the BKFC. My boxing has evolved. My stand-up as a whole has evolved a lot, and I believe you're going to see that come out of me. And as far as like one of the biggest things that I had a downfall in the UFC, I accepted the takedown entirely too much because I was dependent on tapping people out off of my back. That was in my head. I had certain submissions that I wanted to pull off, and I was confident that I was going to get them. So I would accept the takedown. I'm going for these submissions, and they didn't work out. Well, you're definitely going to see me fight to be on top more often. I've opened the gym. I got a little gym of my own down here called Jason Knight MMA, and I've got probably 5, maybe 6 guys that fight for me, and I drill into their heads. If you're on bottom, you are losing, because that's the way the MMA world works. You could be on bottom, you could have this guy tied up, not able to land a single punch on you. You going after 5 different submissions, and he still wins the round because he's on top. That is the way that judges look at this. No matter how many times you put him in danger, you were the guy who was on bottom. He was on top. He controlled where the fight was taking place. That is in their eyes. Even if I'm the one holding him there, trying to go for submissions and stuff. So that is one of the biggest things that I'm going to make sure of. I'm going to stop these damn takedowns, and if they do get me down, I'm going to reverse it. I'm going to get on top. And if I just so happen to be stuck on bottom, I'm going to make sure that I'm landing more strikes than they are. Hell with trying to submit people. If they give it to me and there's a submission there, sure, I'll take it. But I'm trying to inflict damage the whole entire fight, whether it be on the feet, whether it's on the ground, whether it's in a transition. I'm trying to, drop elbows, drop knees, punches, whatever I can. I'm going to make sure that I outwork the guy. I'm going to make sure that he's more miserable than me the whole entire fight.
Well, it's going to be a pleasure to see you use your whole arsenal, my friend. It was great watching you just do the BKFC stuff. Exciting fights, brawls to the end there. But, watching you in the past do your MMA and a well-rounded game, man, is where it's at. And we can't wait to see what's next as far as your game on March 5th, man, for Ikon. So last thing, Jason, you're huge on social media, but throw it out there anyway, man. We want to watch you get ready for this big time fight of yours coming up.
Yeah, man. I'm going to, everybody check me out on Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. I'm going to try my best to get some highlight videos of my training up. I've got a couple guys want to do little promos and stuff. So I'm going to try and make sure that y'all are able to watch this fight camp, watching, see where I'm at. I'm going to make sure that I'm in good shape before I start posting videos. So that way you don't see, I guess you could say a little rust on me. I'm going to go ahead and knock all that rust off before I start, letting you get any kind of eyes on me or anything. But I promise before the fight camp's over, I'm going to make sure that I'm posting some cool videos and stuff for y'all to watch. And, let y'all see that I'm serious and it's time to come back. It's time to make it back to the UFC. So get ready.
Excellent, man. Well, return season, man. Jason the Kid Knight making his way back to the MMA cage.
Yes, sir. Last thing I want to say, before you get off here, Christopher Ramirez, thank you for taking the fight. Prepare, get ready, because I promise you I'm going to be prepared as well. I'd like to thank God, for all the opportunities and for everything that he's putting out in front of me. And, everybody be ready.